What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to show you this mini series we'll be doing where we take the Crimson King Jack Atlas structure deck. We're going to play a budget version, we're going to take it to locals, and then we're going to upgrade it and show you guys what I think is going to be the most competitive, hopefully most consistent version of the deck. I know this archetype can even run things like the Calamity Lock, which did not get banned. Let's get into the opening, and I'm super excited. I cannot wait to open this. We've got Soul Resonator, which I believe is a card you want to play as a 3 of, so I'm definitely running 3 of this in my deck. This card no special summon, get a level 4 or lower fiend monster from your deck to your hand. Really cool stuff. We have Vision Resonator. This is another new Resonator monster. If a level 5 or higher dark monster is on the field, you could special summon this card from your hand. So that's honestly really good. You can bridge into the Scar Red with Red Rising Dragon with this card. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one spell trap that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. And then there we go. The iconic Red Dragon Archfiend. Oh, the shine is actually really cool on that as well. I like that they gave these cards hollow printings. I did not expect it. I hope it does continue for the rest of the synchros, although I believe a lot of them already have, you know, cheap and budget printings already. Red Rising Dragon. I believe this card only has a common printing. It now has an ultra. Again, this card is worthy of a Prismatic Secret. I'm just going to say that. Super iconic card, and yeah, really cool. And there we go. Jack Atlas himself. Really cool to see everything come together for Jack in this card. It's a bit strange because I'm pretty sure this is not something you summon. Like, there's no token that generates this, but the fact they added it is awesome. You can tell someone in Konami really enjoys Jack Atlas. Red Supernova Dragon. You do play this, you do summon this in the deck, and it's very easy to do. It's a super rare, and there is an ultra rare printing, I believe. It goes for the past year, and oh my days, the card that should have been banned if you're speaking to a competitive person. But I'm actually glad it's not banned now. This card can skip the opponent's turn pretty much because they cannot activate anything when this is summoned, and they can't respond to this effect. So it's borderline Egyptian God card level. Let's just put it like that. Scarred Red Dragon Archfiend, or I guess Scarred Dragon Archfiend. There we go. This card should have had a super rare because this is part of the 1-card combo. This card is so good, honestly. Probably the best card they've printed after the first Resonator we showed. Oh, okay. OG Dark Resonator. Let's go. Creation Resonator, Synchron Resonator, Red Resonator, you'll love to see it. Good reprint as well. You do play this in Sprite to win in time, so that is a very big deal. Crimson Resonator, the Bone Archfiend will dump this to the graveyard, then Red Rising brings it back, and you bring out 2 Resonators. Vice Dragon, love this one. Battle Fader, again, Jack Atlas card, iconic. Red Sprinter, I don't remember in the anime if they played this card, but I think they did. Red Warg, I like to think Red Warg is the sort of start of evolution of Red Dragon Archfiend, correct me if I'm wrong. And then Wandering King Wildwind, this needed a reprint. This card was super expensive back in the days if you wanted to enjoy the Jack deck. I've never seen this Jack play this card. Phantom King Hydride, but this looks wicked. It's a level 3 tuner. If you use this card as a synchro material, you can treat as a non-tuner. Okay, so it's like a substitute. I kind of like that. That's a pretty cool card. And then we have Magical King Moonstar. We have Absolute King Backjack. Sure, that's a trap support card. Oh my days. We get the Assault Mod support. I did not realize this. We get Red Dragon Archfiend Assault Mode. We get Assault Beast. Let's go. We get Psy Reflector, Assault Mode support, Fire and Ascata, which you will play in the deck as well to make sure you bridge into the level 8 synchros. Danger Nessie, I respect it. It's a dark. You can help you bridge into stuff. The danger cards are great, by the way, if you are a budget player. Wish of the Black Forest, another good one. Absolute Power Force. I believe this is Red Dragon's iconic power move in the anime, which is quite cool. And the Crimson Gaia, again, this is basically the 1-card combo as well. Resonator Engine, Resonator Call, which is a non-once per turn Resonator Searcher. This is quite nice. Resonator Command. So that card's art is quite cool. You get all the Archfiends on the card art, which I thought was quite nice. Burning Soul. Pot of Extravagance. Wow, that is a really good reprint. Again, if you're a budget player, you probably have triple copies of the best synchro cards. Fiendish Golem, which is a retrain, I guess, of Fiendish Chain. Red Zone, this is the card I'm talking about, which is a popper, but I believe also a special summons a Dark Dragon Synchro, which is a big deal. King Synchro looks like Jack Atlas, but I don't even think it is. It's got the hair of Yugi. That's a really weird one. Red Rain, it's a cool name. Time to Stand Up, this is a new card that was recently released as well. Fiendish Chain, great disruption card. Powerful Rebirth, Assault Mode Activate, let's go. Terrors of the Ovary, that is a reprint. And Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. Okay, so they threw in some synchros at the bottom then, which are all common, it looks like. And of course, Red Nova Dragon, one of the most iconic Red Dragon Archfiend monsters. This had a Megatin, I believe, as well, which I thought was quite cool. And so that was the box opening for the Jack Atlas structure deck. So after doing some test hands, after doing some 1-card combos, this is what I fell on as the version of the deck and ratios you should be playing. And so this is the brand new Resonator monster that you do get in the deck. when he's normal or special, you can add a basically Bone Archfiend from the deck to the hand. That's the 1-card combo that will end on a Scar Dragon Archfiend, a Hot Red Bane, and Abyss with the red zone, which is really important, which beats Dark Ruler normal, which is quite important. Next up is free of the Vision Resonator. Because we're playing a budget version, we have to max out on this card. And so Vision is quite important because he will search the red zone, or he'll search the Crimson Gaia, but also he's a free special summon if a level 5 or higher dark monster is on the field. Next up is the Bone Archfiend. This card is amazing. I'm so glad they printed a card like this. You can send a card from the hand or field to the graveyard and special summon this card. The main effect which makes the 1-card combo happen is you can send a Fiend Tuner from the deck to the graveyard and then modulate a level by 1 up or down. We have the Asketer and the Fire and Asketer engine. These are going to allow you to basically freely special summon a level 8 synchro, and if you combo that with the other resonator monsters, that's where the deck really shines as a budget deck. Yes, there is a brick where the Asketer will not special summon the Fire Ant from the hand, but I still think you play it. You have so many monsters on the board with different levels that sometimes the Asketer and the Synchro Resonator will go into a second Red Rising, which is not once per turn to special from grave, and almost the reason why you play this engine as well. So next we're playing some more Resonator monsters. We have Synchron Resonator at 2 copies. We have just 1 red resonator, and then we have 2 of the crimson resonator. So this card is quite important if you control exactly 1 Dark Dragon synchro. He specials 2 resonators from the deck, which is really cool. Red resonator wins in time if you specially gain life points equal to a monster's attack on the field, but also it can special a level 4 lower monster from the hand. And the Synchron Resonator is super underrated. Special itself if you control a synchro. 3 of the Wandering King Wildwind. This is the second best Fiend Tuner simply because it's a free special summon. If you control a Fiend Tuner that's 1500 or less attack, this is going to special itself, and again, you all you care about is that Red Rising Dragon. But when the turn comes back to you, after you can banish it and add a Fiend Tuner from your deck to your hand. Moving on, let's do the spell cards. We have 3 of the Crimson Gaia. This card on activation will search a card that basically mentions Red Dragon Archfiend. We cover the 1-card combo in this video, and so it starts with Crimson Gaia, and I think that's enough said as far as modern standards for Yu-Gi-Oh! When Red Dragon attacks, Book of Moon the opponent's entire board. And so at the moment in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse is running rampant, and so I find it pretty cool that we have this effect which enables the OG Red Dragon to nuke the board after they've been flipped face down. But one more really cool thing about this card, it has a third effect. If a monster is destroyed by battle or card effect, you bring out the OG Red Dragon Archfiend, which I thought was quite cool. Next up is 1 copy of Absolute Power Force. So if I'm being completely honest, this is the 1 card you might cut from the deck. It only works as a going second option, but when you do use this effect, it feels like Red Dragon is a god card. So it can double the battle damage. It can give him the effect where your opponent cannot activate anything. It gives piercing damage, which works with the Crimson Gaia as well. And lastly, it gains 1000 attack. So if you're able to Book of Moon a 0 defense monster, Red Dragon flips it face down because of Crimson Gaia, you've now OTK'd them because it does piercing and double damage. So that is pretty insane. I think if someone pulls that off, the opponent might have to quit the game. Just because of how disrespectful that is. The fact this is not once per turn kind of saves the Resonator engine. You can just search any Resonator you want, and to pair with Resonator Call, we have 3 Resonator Command, all the fiends that Jack Atlas is known for. The issue is you have to discard a Resonator monster. If you've noticed in the deck profile so far, there's a lot of them. Well, this card helps solve that issue. Because we're playing a budget version, there are less more potent options that we can run in the deck as far as main deck monsters. This will have to do for now, but yeah, there's cards you can easily substitute this for. And then one more card which I want to include as a budget option is Resonator Engine. I think this card is super underrated. You can add any level 4 monster from the deck to the hand, and you get to shuffle 2 Resonators into the deck, which is really important with Crimson Resonator. And so that's it for the spell cards. Let's move on to the traps, which give us a lot of options as far as disrupting the opponent. So I want to start off with the most powerful trap card that the deck has released. Even the art of this card is super iconic if you've watched the anime. And so when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can pop a card on the field. Remember, with the Crimson Gaia spell card, you'll basically special summon Red Dragon Archfiend from the graveyard. It helps you dodge Dark Ruler no more. If you chain this to Dark Ruler and then chain the Abyss, that will allow you to negate the Dark Ruler. You can bring back a banished Dark Dragon Synchro. And so if you're able to summon Red Supernova Dragon, because his effect banishes himself, is not a once per turn, you kind of see where this card gets its power from, because you can bring back the Red Supernova and then negate and banish their board once again. And we're playing 2 copies of Red Rain. I think you do definitely want to run this as a 3 of, maybe you side deck 1 copy of it. And the point of the Jack deck, I'm noticing, you want to end on at least 1 or 2 powerful Red Dragon monsters. Banishing all monsters on the field just because you control a Red Dragon monster is really cool, but also the remaining Red Dragon Synchro is unaffected. And then if a Dark Dragon Synchro is Synchro summoned, you can add this back to your hand. Next up, we are playing the Fiendish lineup. I figured we should still play this if we end up hard drawing the red zone, and we already have Crimson Gaia. So Vision, or Crimson Guy will let us search the Golem. It's a spot removal as a banish, and then you set the Fiendish Chain. They're just making it really difficult for the opponent to try and take you out because you're setting all this disruption, and all of them have follow-up effects as well. And Fiendish Chain is great. It stops the opponent's monster from attacking. It negates their effects. It's an iconic card that used to exist back then. And so to round it off, we have Time to Stand Up. In some world, this card is going to help you beat Nibiru, because if it's in the graveyard and your opponent activates a monster effect, if you control a Dark Dragon Singer that's level 10 or higher, you can banish this and negate it. And so if you discard this, let's say for Bone Archfiend, and then you just do your synchro climbing, you'll eventually be able to negate Nibiru. And I forgot to add one more card, which was Red Sprinter, just so the deck is 40. If you normal summon this card and you control no other monsters, you special a level 3 alone monster from the hand, and so that's going to allow you to basically again go into the Red Rising Dragon, which is the most important card of the deck. So let's move on to everyone's favorite portion of the video. Let's go through the synchros for the Jack Atlas Crimson structure deck, and I want to start off with the most powerful, one of the most powerful boss monsters to ever exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Red Supernova Dragon. Gonna OTK your opponent when it's summoned because of its high attack, comes shot by card effects. Most importantly, its negation and board banish wipe is not once per turn. If you play this with Red Zone, you're going to be able to use it twice. Next up is the most important card of the deck. It's 3 Red Rising Dragon. The effect is not once per turn, and so bringing out a Resonator from the graveyard like Crimson Resonator is everything you need to end on a really powerful board. We're also going to play 3 of the Scarred Dragon Archfiend. I'm still not used to that retrained name. When this card is used as synchro material, you get to wipe the opponent's board, everything that has attack position, but also you get to bring out Red Dragon Archfiend, which is really important. Summon the Scarred Dragon, synchro it away, bring out Red Dragon, have another synchro climb ready, and we do show that in the combo portion of the video. We play 2 copies of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and we play 1 Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, followed up by 2 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. So Scarlet you barely summon. It's a great time play though, and you can wipe boards with it. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss is going to allow us to beat Dark Ruler no more, which is really important. And then Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane is just going to allow you to keep bringing back all these monsters. To round off the deck profile, we're playing 1 Red Nova Dragon. So you've noticed I did not decide to run King Calamity. I just think it's an option that we should not run for now. Main reason being we cannot synchro on the opponent's turn, so we really can't use the advantage that it does where it negates everything they do. Maybe in the competitive version where we run the Bestial Spell and Traps, which will let our synchro summon on the opponent's turn, that's definitely when Calamity makes an appearance. Welcome guys to the 1 card combo for the Scar Red Dragon deck. We're going to search a card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend, and of course we're going to search the new Resonator monster, Soul Resonator. Let's normal summon this card. Let's search a level 4 or lower Fiend monster, and we're going to search the Bone Archfiend, which again is a brand new card which enables so much for the deck. And I'll show you guys what we're going to do. We can special summon this by sending another card from the hand or field to the graveyard, and then we're going to activate this effect to send a Fiend Tuner to the graveyard. I like how it's generic, so you know in the future if there are broken Fiend Tuners we can use those. Basically want to make sure we send the Crimson Resonator, which is the most important one, but also we get to modulate the levels of these monsters on the field. Let's reduce the level of Soul Resonator to 2, and then that's going to give us a level 6 Synchro monster, which is probably the heart and soul of the deck. We're going to activate his effect to special summon a Resonator from the graveyard, the one we just dumped, and then we get to activate Crimson's effect, which is the best part of this combo. Because we control exactly 1 Dark Dragon Synchro monster, we get to special 2 Resonators from the deck, which is so good. And so let's make sure we get Vision Resonator to the board, and let's also make sure that we can summon the Synchron Resonator. From here we're going to synchro the Red Rising Dragon and the Vision Resonator, and that's going to give us the Scarred Dragon Archfiend, the brand new boss monster. We're going to trigger Vision Resonator's effect now, and that's going to allow us to search a spell or trap that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend. And it's really important you get to search one of the new ones, which is Red Zone, or you can also search the Fiendish Golem. This is a banish removal, which also sets the Fiendish Chain. Unfortunately, the Fiendish Chain you set cannot be activated that turn. I think that would have been a big change if they allowed that, and so we're going to prioritize the Red Zone instead. And so here the next part we're going to do is synchro off the Scarred Dragon Archfiend and the Crimson Resonator. We're going to special summon the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane, and because Scarred Dragon Archfiend went to the graveyard, we can now go ahead and bring back, well I guess summon the OG Red Dragon Archfiend. I never thought I'd see the day where we get to summon this card in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! So we're going to use the Synchron Resonator and the Red Dragon Archfiend. We're going to special summon the Hot Red Dragon Abyss. Let's make sure we get to use Synchro Resonator's effect, add a Resonator from the graveyard to the hand. Now remember when I said Vision Resonator is quite important, because we control a level 5 or higher dark monster, we get to special summon this. If we want, we can actually tribute it now and bring back a monster that counts as a Red Dragon Archfiend, and so we can bring back the Scarred Dragon Archfiend. And so that was the 1 card combo for the Scarred Dragon Archfiend deck. If you want to catch what a random test hand looks like, stay tuned because that's what's happening next up. And so now it's time for the test hand portion of the video and see what we can make, what kind of board we can end up creating. So I've done the shuffling. Let's see what we got. Absolute Power Force, Crimson, Soul Resonator, Wild Wind, and a Bone Archfiend. So we're quite lucky because we have the 1-card combo in our hand pretty much. So I think that's what we start off with. Let's normal summon Soul Resonator. So Soul Resonator is going to allow us to add a level 4 lower Fiend to the hand. I want to actually get out of the way the Synchron Resonator. Special summon the Bone Archfiend by sending another card to the graveyard. Now we can send a Fiend from the deck to the graveyard, the Fiend Tuner. We're going to be able to modulate the levels. Now, you always want to make sure you have Crimson Resonator in the graveyard, but we were fortunate enough to already have it in the hand. But as long as we can send something, and I think in this case, we want to send the Vision Resonator to the graveyard. And because this card went to the graveyard, it's going to allow us to search. Before we do that, let's just modulate the level of the Soul Resonator, so it's a level 2 monster. Vision Resonator's effect, that's going to allow us to add the Crimson Gaia to the hand. Let's just get it out of the way. Let's activate Crimson Gaia. Let's search for the card that mentions it, which is the Red Zone. Okay, this is actually looking quite sick because now we can synchro these two and then go into the Red Rising Dragon. Activating Red Rising Dragon's effect, we can special summon a Resonator monster from the graveyard. This is why we dumped the Crimson Resonator in the first place, because we control exactly one Dark Dragon synchro. We can special summon 2 Resonators from the deck. And so we want to basically summon Super Red Nova Dragon. That's my favorite one to summon, and it beats Nibiru as well. Also with the Red Zone, which we're just going to place face up. So with Crimson Resonator, we're going to do Red Resonator and another level 2 Resonator monster. And so from here, let's go ahead and summon the Super Red Nova Dragon. And there we go. Red Supernova Dragon has made his appearance. Let's put him in the EM zone as well. And so from here, we can go ahead and use the Synchro monsters, Red Rising Dragon and the Red Resonator. We're going to go into the Scar Dragon Archfiend. Because we control a Synchro, we can special summon Synchron Resonator from the hand. And next, we're going to Synchro the Scar Dragon Archfiend and Synchron Resonator. And we're going to be able to summon a Hot Red Dragon Abyss, which is the Dark Ruler Normal Negate. So let's do Synchron Resonator as chaining 1 to chain block the Ghost spell. Add the Vision Resonator to the hand. And let's do Scar Dragon Archfiend's effect, giving us the original OG Red Dragon Archfiend. We'll add Vision Resonator and we'll get to special summon the Red Dragon Archfiend. Because we control a Fiend monster, we can special summon the Wandering King Wildwind. I want to make sure we go into a Red Rising once again, and because it's not a once per turn, that is going to be really cool. It's going to give us the ability to bring out the Red Supernova Dragon. Let's activate Red Rising's effect. Again, at this point, it doesn't even matter what you bring out, but I think we should bring out something like Red Resonator. Let's gain the life points from the Abyss, getting us to 11,200. Because we control a level 5 or higher Dark monster, we're going to special summon the Vision Resonator. And here we go. Let's use the 3 level 2 monsters and the Red Rising Dragon. And let's go into the boss monster for the deck, Red Supernova Dragon. And so that is looking like a pretty solid end board here. We have a monster negation. When the opponent does that, we're going to banish Red Supernova Dragon, banish their whole field, and then we have Red Zone. If your opponent activates a card or effect while you control Red Dragon Archfiend, we can pop a card on their field. Also, as a quick effect, because it's a trap card, we can special summon a banished Dark Dragon Synchro. And so that means we can bring back the Red Supernova Dragon. And if you pay attention, this card's negation is actually not a hard once per turn. So you can bring it back and do it again, which I think is really, really annoying. Kind of been thrown by card effects. So they can't dark hole it, they can't lightning storm it, which is a really popular removal at the moment. We have Hot Red Abyss, again our Dark Ruler negate, which is really, really important to make sure this board goes off. If they're stupid enough to fight us in the battle phase, we actually have Absolute Power Force here, one of the new cards out of the Crimson Jack Atlas deck. And so I hope you guys enjoyed my random test hand. This is just one example of what you can do with the deck. I am so excited to show you guys the next part in this series, where I show you what the deck is like playing it in a feature match. But I also might do a updated deck profile showing you what I think the most competitive version of it is. And so let me know in the comments what you'd like to see next for this really cool series we're doing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.